The main argument of my talk is that in schools today, in society today, that there's so much uncertainty, so much volatility going on that we don't really know what we're going to need to be able to prepare kids for the future. So I make the case that what we really need to do as leaders and as schools is be able to constantly renew what we do. And so what I do to try and explain that is I use the metaphor of a snake shedding its skin. So regularly snakes they grow too big for their skin, so they have to shed the skin that they have and grow another one. So what I try and do is apply that metaphor to school leadership, and I talk about the things that make shedding of a skin valuable, in that it refreshes things, in that it helps to get rid of parasites, it helps us to leave some of the things behind that are perhaps not useful and replace those with new things. So it takes an evolutionary biology approach to that. After I've talked about leaders being able to refresh, and we go through a number of points for them to do that, then we say it's not much good just for leaders to refresh on their own. They've got to be able to spread that throughout their school or their organisation. So we talk about a number of things that they can do to build a renewal into their school. So we talk about prospecting, we talk about paving and bridging, we talk about keeping things simple, sensible and safe. And so we bring it back. The message is we need to change our mindsets, change our ideas, change our thinking that's going on, but at the same time we've got to make sure that we hang on to what the purpose of education is. We need to hang on to the moral aspects of it, the educative aspects of it. So shed how we do it and learn how to do it in different ways, but make sure that we keep our heart and our guts intact. I think in terms of the new things, again, you can't give a definitive answer because we all work in very, very different contexts. Some schools, for example, deal with large immigrant communities. Other schools have a much more stable clientele. There's different socioeconomic status. So that context will help to determine what we need to learn. And so it'll have to be personalised to those situations. What leaders need to do is look beyond themselves and ask beyond themselves. If we're looking for what's needed when we don't actually know what the future's going to be, which is a big ask, we need to have other people who provide input to us. We need to listen to all the talent in our community. We need to listen to different cultures. We need to listen to different ages, students, teachers, whatever it is, and get them to help inform what might be needed. What might we leave behind? I don't know about you, but over the course of our lives we develop these habits. You got habits? Yeah, we develop habits where we do things the same way again and again. And we don't even know why we have these habits quite often. They're just something we developed at a particular time to deal with something else. But it's like smoking. It's so ingrained in us as a habit that it's hard to get rid of. So I think we need to try and get a view of those habits. This is shedding the skin. See which of those that are relevant now to our school and relevant to student good, and then try and leave them behind to give us more headspace, more emotional space, more professional space that we can then put in what is needed to be able to adapt to that new. Because I see it this way. One of the most powerful things that a school leader does is model. So people watch what a leader does, and they actually watch more than they listen to what they say. So if a leader can model refreshing, can renewal and critical thinking in different ways, the teachers will then, hopefully, if they respect and trust their principal, they will model this, and then the students will. And then we'll have a school that is constantly looking for things that they may leave behind to add new things onto. However, we don't leave everything behind. There's a lot of our past, there's a lot of our history, a lot of our culture we want to maintain. So, as in evolutionary biology, we've got to decide what cultural DNA we need to keep. Then we need to discern what cultural DNA we need to leave behind to be able to adapt and live in a new place. And then finally, we need to be able to institutionalise or personalise the new and build it into our practice as leaders. I would hope that it would be a nice mixture that maintains the human aspect the spirit and the human aspect of teaching, of people talking to each other, of a place where we allow students to have a free mind, not somewhere where we tell them what they should think, but where we provide the scope for them to be able to work out what they think. So I hope it retains that importantly, but there's also no doubt that technology, artificial intelligence, etc., is going to play a much greater role in what we do, and that will be a way that will help students get knowledge that even we can't give them. But if we can't train them to be kids that think and discern and make moral decisions and ethical decisions, we won't be able to learn how to apply that knowledge for good, or to help them, prepare them to not only live productive but also happy and ethical lives. So I hope that schools of the future maintain that humanness and bring it together, but we end up having thinking, discerning, moral students who try and help us get on in a better community. That's what I hope.